Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in to the Banff Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Lafferty, here tonight with special guest, Kendra Leigh Speedling. Did I say your name correctly?
Lee.
Okay. Thank you very much for
Close.
joining. Huh? Close? Well, what is the correct pronunciation? I'm sorry.
Lee.
Lee. Okay.
Mm,
Forgive me.
no
Um,
worries.
Kendra is a writer. She does fiction and game design. Currently, she's probably best known for freelancing for Paizo. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's been most of my work lately.
All right, cool. Oh, I forgot. I have this contractually obligated intro music to play. Just one second. And there we go. And gentle listeners, that ensures you're listening to a high quality, high production value podcast, artisanally handcrafted, made from the finest, ethically sourced geeky conversations. So, thanks for tuning in. And Kendra, how long have you been writing?
Since I was a kid, really. I finished my first novel when I was 13. It wasn't very
Oh,
good, as expected, but I've always been making up stories and writing them down since I was a kid. So, yeah, it's just been always been a hobby of mine, and now something I get paid to do sometimes, which is pretty cool.
sweet. Well, respect for starting when you were 13. I didn't have that. I was doing short stories and plays at that age, but a whole novel. That's some impressive organization and or attention span. So, do you have a particular process you like to follow when writing? Are you an outliner, or are you seat of the pants kind of person?
It depends. Short stories, in most cases, I'm more of a seat of the pants sort of writer, but if I'm working with something longer and complicated, I do try to outline a little bit at least, have some idea of where I'm going.
All right, cool. Um, you find there's a certain time of day that's better for you, or do just kind of whenever the inspiration or discipline hits?
Whenever I can fit it in, really. I mean, I've got a day job, so I'm working at that all day during the week, and then so mostly weekends, mostly evenings, whenever I can get some time, really.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Whenever the day job or the family or other responsibilities don't interfere. So, for folks who are listening and not watching, you can check out Kendra's work at klspeedling.com, or you can also follow her on the Twitter, where all the cool kids are, at Kendra LS. I'll put that up on a banner as well. So, Kendra, you just shared a really cool piece of art for an upcoming adventure from Starfinder at Paizo. Let me go ahead and share that. And I apologize because we don't have the name of the author, but oh my God, look at that. That's just incredible.
Yeah, it's I didn't they didn't tell me the name of the artist yet, unfortunately, but it's really cool. Um,
Can you tell us, for those who might be listening over on iTunes, what's going on here?
well, this is a picture of during the adventure, the PCs each find a mech
Hmm.
that they can pilot, and they will eventually lead it into battle against a mighty adamantine dragon, which will be sort of the climactic part of the adventure. Is they have to go fight her. So, if you have ever wanted to fight a dragon while in a mech, this is the adventure for you.
Yeah, this looks like, yeah, it's just an amazing cover. Reminds me of Rom. But yeah, just a couple of mechs squaring off against an adamantium. Oh wow, I'd like to have this on a poster or something. This is really amazing.
Mm,
So cool. Well, hey, we brought you on to mention you did an incredible short story for us for Blaster Bolts called 105 Miles to Beaumont. Could you
hmm.
tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it's a as per the theme of the magazine, it is a sort of futuristic sci-fi story, but also with some old west themes in there. So it's sort of I usually shorthand describe it as queer girls on the Pony Express with robots.
I love that.
um, so it's it's basically a takeoff on the Pony Express, but in the future. So it's on a different planet. It's sort of in this world where we've kind of moved out onto other planets and are starting to terraform them. And it's It is told as sort of a flashback a little bit. It's this old woman telling a story to her kids about this thing that she did when she was younger, and that her future wife did when they were younger. So it's kind of has that sort of old west reminiscing feel. Sort of looking back at how it used to be when the wilds were more wild and there was not not everything that there is out now. So it's they essentially she stops at the station. The other main character is kind of on the way. They have this relay system, like the Pony Express, and but when she shows up, she is injured, and then the two have to figure out how to get out of that station and get back to safety with a very nasty magnetic storm on the way.
Yeah, I really love this story because we had a lot of great writers in the series, including Michael Jan Friedman, a well-known Star Trek novelist. But I think you were one of the authors who stuck really closest to the main idea. I mean, of sort of a new take on old pulp Western stories.
Mm.
And I thought the story was great, and just it really kind of took my breath away when I read it, just because it really felt like you were reading an old Western piece,
No,
but
thank you.
with the sci-fi trappings. So that was issue 3 of Blaster Bolts. People can find that on Drive Through RPG or Drive Through Fiction, and currently a copper bestseller, which is kind of cool. And also, please forgive me for the Hartley commercial shilling, but you can help fund the anthology that will feature the story as well as 10 others over here on the Blaster Bolts Kickstarter on Kickstarter. We already funded, but there are 7 days left to fund, and it's a very low entry price, just $5 to get in for PDF and ebook, and I think it's 6 or 7 for print on demand discount coupons. So it's a good time to fund, and we got a lot of great stories like Kendra's. So this is your chance to jump on the bandwagon. Just 7 days left. So, and with that, my soulless sales guy shilling is over, and I'll put that away. There'll be a link in the show notes. What is next for you, Kendra? You're working. You're doing some work for Starfinder right now. What else do you have in the hopper?
I have a few things.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing I can currently talk about at the moment, because some things haven't been announced. Some things have been announced, but it's not necessarily established who's on them as of yet. So it's right now. I think the most recent thing, other than the To Defy the Dragon that's coming out in November, I had some things in the Dark Archive, which just got released for Pathfinder,
Oh,
which
okay.
was pretty cool. I did the apocryphal domain spells for the cleric, so spells that are a little bit more metaphorical or sort of a more a less direct link. For example, instead of having your cleric throw on fire as their domain spell, you could have them gaze into the flames and read the future in them. So
Oh,
things that are a little bit more abstract or metaphorical expressions of domains, which is I had a lot of fun with.
that's pretty cool. Hey, I just found the cover for the Dark Archive. Let
Oh,
me
okay.
share that out. And did we promote your Starfinder adventure and never at any point before now mention the title?
Um, I suppose it was on the cover. I guess we did. I guess we didn't.
Yeah, so that's Defy the Dragon, and
To Defy the
that's
Dragon, yeah, it should be November, shipping gods allowing. We'll see.
okay. Yeah, shipping makes things complicated these days. Oh, that's as
Mm,
always. Paizo has amazing cover art. That's the
yeah.
Dark Archive, and this is out now, right?
Yep, it's out now. It just got released, I think, was Gen Con release? I forget, earlier in the month, I think. But I also did the Reflection Versatile Heritage, where if you want to play someone's duplicate, you can do that. And the Sleepwalker archetype, which is all around about dream magic and things like that.
Oh, that sounds really cool. So,
But yeah, it's a great book. A lot of really talented people worked on it, and it's got a lot of fun concepts.
That's cool.
So
That's
check
cool.
it out.
So I see you did both some first edition and second edition Pathfinder work. So you've been with Paizo for a while, or at least freelancing for them for a while.
Yeah, I started out freelancing, let's see, 2016, I think, somewhere around there. But I didn't start getting regular work from Paizo until a couple years ago. So took a bit
Okay.
of time bouncing around, doing a lot of different things. But yeah, I've worked on first edition, second edition, Starfinder.
Okay. Has working for Paizo changed over time, or pretty stable?
Um, A lot of the processes are similar. When you're freelancing, usually you get contacted by a developer. They ask you, "Hey, I have this project. Would you like to work on it?" You tell them yes or no, and then they'll send you an outline, and kind of assign work based on who's expressed interest in what. One of the exciting developments recently at Paizo was their unionization, which was a really cool thing and something a lot of people worked really hard on.
Yeah,
So
we
I
used
think
to have
they're.
a we had Jason Tondro on the show
Oh yeah,
a
yeah.
lot over the years. I think he was involved with that.
Yeah, yeah, he was a big. He's now gone over to Wizards of the Coast, but yeah, he was a big proponent of the union. One of the people who was really good at getting the word out there and things like that. So, as far as I know, they're in negotiations now. I don't have any inside knowledge or anything like that, but that was the last I heard from their Twitter. So,
Okay. Has the unionization effort changed what it's like to be a freelancer at Paizo at all?
not really. I mean, the unionization was never really about affecting the freelancers as much. It was more about conditions within the company for the employees. So,
Okay.
on our end, it's pretty much the same as it was.
Okay. Okay. So I just found the cover of another book you've recently done for Pathfinder, or uh,
Ah,
Book of the
yes.
Dead. This, once again, a cool cover. What did you have in this one?
In that one, I did the cadaverous rake, which is sort of an undead swashbuckler style, kind of very Dread Pirate Roberts, but a skeleton kind of flair.
That's really cool.
And the pale sovereign, which is a kind of an undead royal member of a royal line. They got cursed, or their family got cursed, and then they gradually wasted away to undeath, and now they have to rule their domain and never leave it. And I also did a conversion of the Unrisen, which was around in Pathfinder First Edition, but it's basically a resurrection spell goes wrong, and that's the result.
Mm, okay. So not a lich, but more of a, well, as you say, a resurrection
No,
spell. Didn't work quite right.
if you're familiar with Full Metal Alchemist, it's
Mm.
basically what happens when they when they try to bring back their mother is kind of like that sort of like horribly mangled like mess of limbs and awful stuff.
Oh, that sounds fun. Cool. And that was looks like that came out last year. So
Yeah, yeah, a while ago. It's a really cool book. There's a lot of cool monsters in there. There's an adventure. But yeah, it's really neat.
oh, cool. So we probably have some listeners out there who are aspiring RPG writers, and if someone were to ask you, how do you get into freelancing at Paizo? Is it about sending in submissions? Is it networking conventions? Is it a combination of the two, or some mysterious third path we haven't even considered? What kind of advice would you
Um,
give to somebody like that?
Honestly, it's changed a lot. Like just in the past few years. I haven't even been in there for that long compared to some people that have been at this a lot longer. But even in the past few years, with a lot of things going online due to COVID, there's been a lot more opportunities, I think, for people who might not necessarily have the resources to go to conventions or do the traditional networking or know people or things like that. Um, so I personally, I think I first got some notice by working with third-party publishers, which that's definitely still a great way to do that. There's a lot of those out there doing cool stuff. I had stuff published in Wayfinder, which is the sort of official fan magazine that they put out. It's kind of been a bit. The latest issue's been a bit delayed. They've had some issues with that, but it's a really cool magazine, so you should definitely check out the issues. And they these days, I think a lot of people have been doing stuff with Infinite, Pathfinder and Starfinder Infinite, which is basically like their self-publishing kind of deal. You can publish things through there, and they'll put it up for sale and things like that. I haven't looked too much into doing it myself, but I know it's a good way to get your name out there, I think. I think you might be muted.
Oh, I apologize. I do that at least once a show. Please forgive me.
No worries.
Yeah, it's seems to be a trend over the last several years. Companies going, with the community content program like that.
Mm,
So let you publish, play with the stuff in their sandbox with a few restrictions. So
hmm
it's been interesting. So you were also involved in Drift Crisis back in late
Yes,
2021. That was a fun
yes,
book.
I was.
What can you tell us about that?
Let's see. For Drift Crisis, oh gosh. The thing about all these hardcovers is that I do the work for them and then they come out like a year later and and then I forget. Okay, for Drift Crisis I did the
It's like the cracks in the
extraplanar.
cosmos. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, the Cracks in the Cosmos extraplanar adventure where things are there's strange rifts to different planes opening up throughout the galaxy, and it's not really a fully written adventure. It's more like kind of an outline that the GM
Hmm.
can build off of, and then use it for inspiration, things like that, which is pretty cool. And then I also did the couple of the NPCs featured in the book. I did
Shazira? Am I saying that right?
Shazra and Zoe, which were fun.
And Zoe has an exclamation mark at the end of their name.
Zoe does always have the exclamation mark. He's a character. If you're not familiar with Starfinder, he's sort of an undead media mogul.
Hmm.
He runs a lot of crazy reality shows and things of questionable ethical ethical and legal issues, but he's on Aox, so the law doesn't really forbid any of that over there. It's kind of a anything goes kind of place.
Oh, that's cool. And frequent commenter Sean Vera joined us tonight. So good evening. Good to see you there, Sean. Hope everything is cool up in Canada this evening. Okay, so for Drift Crisis, said you also did the Rift Stalker. What is that?
Yep, it is a creature that's kind of they're mentioned as in the appearing in the little adventure seeds. They basically are strange extraplanar things that show up around rifts to other planes or places of planar instability, and they kind of stake them out as their territory and patrol around there.
Oh, cool, cool. Oh, it looks like you did a book that one of our frequent co-hosts actually did the cover for.
Oh, cool, cool.
Starfarer Species Reforged.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a third party. Jacob Blackman is a
Oh,
frequent
yeah.
co-host, and let me juggle our sharing around. But yeah, he did the cover for that one. So and
Cool.
that just came out. Looks like it's on sale right now, so people are interested. They can get that now for looks like 20% off. And yeah, that's Jacob's art right there. What can you tell us about your work in that one?
For that one, I did the list. Some of the I sort of shared the Lashunta section with Alex Agunas, who had originally written it for the supplement it came out in first before it got compiled and everything. So I added on some stuff to his for that, and then I did the section for the Kirinta, which is a species I created for a Starfinder Society scenario a while back, and eventually made it into a bestiary or a alien archive, and then they're weird, kind of chaotic Moth people is what the Kirinta is. So
That is intriguing.
they're very waha. They are very curious. They love exploring and learning new things, but sometimes their impulse control is not always the greatest.
Well, being Faye, yeah. Oh, cool, cool. Well, hey, thank you very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Yeah, thanks for having
Um,
me.
Once again, you can follow Kendra on Twitter at KendraLS, or her website is klspeedling.com. You can find her issue of Blaster Bolts is number 3 on Drive Through RPG or Drive Through Fiction. And for 7 more days until August 28th, the Blaster Bolts Kickstarter is funding. We already funded, it's going to happen. You can just jump on that glorious bandwagon here in the next 7 days. So take the opportunity to do that. And before we wrap it up, anything else you'd like to mention, Kendra?
I think that's about it. If you do happen to check out the website, don't be scared by the very long defunct blog. My credits on there are current, but mostly it's just a glorified list of what I've done at the moment. I've been meaning to redo it, but haven't gotten the time yet. So
That's a challenge for a lot of writers, I think. You can do the work of writing, or you can do the work of promotion. It's hard to find a balance and do both.
mm,
So, well, yeah, thanks for your time, everyone. Thanks for checking us out, and we will catch you next time on the Band Podcast.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. There's an awkward moment before we're fully off the air. Let's just lean in and embrace the awkwardness.